California's Gold is produced in association with KCET Los Angeles and is seen statewide on California Public Television. This series is endorsed by the California Teachers Association, the California School Boards Association, and the California Library Association. Well, there we were on our way, heading for a destination about 45 minutes due east of Modesto in Stanislaus County. Now, to get there, we traveled through some beautiful countryside. So beautiful that I got distracted and made a couple of wrong turns, got on the wrong road. But eventually, we got back on track and met up with our local guides, who were very proud of their historic little gold country town.
We're in Grange, California, and at one time it was a booming gold mining town because of the river and the gold they found here.
We are in downtown
Yes.
LaGrange.
We are.
How many people live in LaGrange today?
Well, the population sign says 250, and it's been that way, I understand, for about 80 years. And that's when the population went down.
Everybody left.
Yeah, but the ones that are here have stayed forever.
This is hardcore.
Yes.
All right, now we're here in search of something big and rusty, and, you know, it's a beautiful example of California's gold. We're not going to talk about that yet. We're going to talk about downtown. In fact, we're going to take a tour of the entire town of LaGrange, and we can do that quickly, can't we?
Yes, we can. You got your walking shoes on, we can.
Well, we're not going to have to walk very far.
No.
You've got a building here, a building here. Look down here. Here's the rest of the town down here. We're going to go down there in a minute. But up here, this is just about it.
This is it.
All right, these are big buildings here, but I think we're going to start down at that wooden building down there. Marcia's wearing me out. We've walked a quarter of a block down through downtown LaGrange. Our first stop is right here. Marcia, what does it say up on front? IOOF.
International Order of the Odd Fellows.
Before we go in there, Al, come on over here. Introduce yourself to everybody.
Yes.
Stay here, Marcia.
Good morning. I'm Al Minshew, and I am a member of that Oddfellow group.
You're also a clamper.
A member of E. Clampus Vitus.
Okay, now let's talk about a little touchy subject right here, because the clampers started because respectable organizations like this organization over here, the Oddfellows,
Masons, Sons of Liberty.
they didn't want to have anything to do. You all were too rowdy.
Well, we've cleaned up a lot since then.
Well, I know, but
A
I'm
little
talking
bit.
about history. Clampers came about in a large way because these respectable organizations didn't want to have anything to do
Right.
with you
It
all.
started in the 1840s in what's now West Virginia. And it started off as a joke, and it kind of still is. We're a fun-loving historical society. Like I said before, I'm also an Oddfellow. And
Wait a minute, you're doing double duty here. You've got
sure
a
am.
respectable side and a clamper side. You're kind of...
well, I have an evil twin.
Crossover. There's a lot of crossovers in this town.
All right, so you're allowed to go inside here, even though
Well,
you
you-
are a clamper.
Well, yes, they keep an eye on me, though.
We're going inside the Oddfellows Hall, and we've been met by...
I'm Chris Stevenson.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you,
Are
too.
you an Oddfellow?
I'm an Oddfellow and a Rebecca.
Oh, excuse
Yes,
me.
yes.
Now, why are we starting here on the first floor of the
Well,
Oddfellow Hall?
This is the center of LaGrange's community spirit. It's a gathering place since 1881 when the building was built. And
What goes on in here
well,
today?
wedding receptions, funerals, community dinners, fundraisers.
So you got a kitchen going here,
Good
you got a
kitchen.
big room here that if we had come here on a particular night, this place would be hopping.
A week from now, we're going to have a fish fry, catfish dinner. So that's the kind of thing that happens here. Spaghetti feeds.
All right, so this is
Cowboy
kind of like a
poetry.
community center.
Yes.
That's on the first floor. Anybody can come in here, right?
Yes.
Only special people can go upstairs. Here we go. Now, Chris, we're heading up the back steps, which is not really very safe, is
Well,
it?
we've been restoring the hall, but the stairs have been That's our next project.
Boy, these things are rickety.
They're old, but they'll hold up.
All right. Boy,
worry.
this is history. We're walking on history right now.
Yeah.
Oh boy, I can't wait. Oh, look at this.
Uh-oh.
The whole railing is coming apart.
Well, that was newly added. It's newly falling off.
Now this says old school. What are we looking at here, Marcia? Because you're a Rebecca.
Yes, I'm a Rebecca.
What are we looking at here? This is spectacular.
These are our true assets. Other lodges in the state envy us because we have heard they came around the horn.
This furniture did.
Yes, it's priceless. It's unduplicated.
It's been sitting here for 100 and something years. What is this? Look at this.
Yes, that's the banner for the Odd Fellows.
Do you think, how far back does that go?
Well, it's got 1800. We think 1850.
1857?
Yeah.
Wow. I don't think anything's changed in here.
Well, the room was built in 1881, the hall.
And it's
but
pretty much
everything-
like it was then.
Mm-hmm.
Now, there's a lot to see. Look over here behind us. Where does the who's the head of the lodge?
The noble grand sits at this end.
And who sits down here at this end?
Vice Grand.
The vice grand sits here. The grand sits down here. And Al, leave it to a clamper. You wanted to point something out in the midst of all this history and all this beautiful old furniture that came around the horn. What did you want to point out?
Well, I'd like to call your attention to these spittoons around here. Now, I belong to this lodge, but I have not seen anybody chewing tobacco in a long, long time. So I think they might be decoration.
But these are the probably original spittoons.
That's right. Where have you seen a spittoon recently?
Okay, the tour continues. We have left the Odd Fellows Hall and we're coming another couple of 100 feet down the road here to a place that Al probably feels more comfortable, don't you, Al?
Well, I have been in here for a sarsaparilla a couple of times.
That's what I figured. Look where we are. This beautiful building, it's got a stone front to it. Been here since 1897. Okay, we're inside the old LaGrange Saloon and Grill, and here perched on the stool to greet us, your name is?
Good morning, Deb Parsons. I'm
Now,
owner.
You're the owner,
I am.
you're the bartender.
Chief bottle washer, custodian, you name it.
You do it all.
I do it all, but I do have a staff to help me.
Okay, well, the staff isn't here because it's not 10 o'clock yet. What time do you usually open up?
We open about 11. If I have a tourist group come, I certainly would be happy to open up earlier.
Boy, this is old school.
It's 113 years old. We should look as good.
Wow, look at this. There's a history. Barsha, come here a minute. You know the history behind this bar, don't you?
Well, we've been told it came from Hornitos, and they got it from around the horn again. A lot of these old fixtures and
Everything
furniture.
in LaGrange came around the horn.
Well, the French did that. This is a bar that's been in continuous operation for 113 years.
Really?
Absolutely.
So you've got a big tradition to uphold.
We're very historical, yes.
You can't close this place
No,
down.
I
The
don't-
town would uprise.
Yes, they would. They would.
And Marcia said it's a family place. People
It
come
is.
in here to eat as
Yes.
well as drink.
Families are most welcome.
So they come here, the children can
Absolutely.
eat, and then after what time?
About 9 o'clock, whenever I close the kitchen, then it becomes over 21. But if I have a lot of families still eating, especially in the summertime, I'll keep the kitchen open.
Is this place hustling and bustling?
And on the weekends, it certainly is with our ranchers, with our boaters, our tourists, and our bikers. We do lots of biker runs.
Wow. Come on in here. You know what I'm getting ready to ask her. Come over here, Marcia.
You probably didn't know this bar was burnt down originally. In order to rebuild it, Mr. Lavaggi charged 25 cents a whiskey shot to rebuild it as you see it now.
Wait a minute.
25 cents
Every
a shot.
time you took a shot of whiskey,
25 cents.
25 cents went into the building fund.
Absolutely. The only building fund.
So there were a lot of shots of whiskey in
Yes,
LaGrange.
absolutely.
Back outside the LaGrange Saloon and Grill. Now, there are the clampers. Boy, they all wear red. And we've got a presentation, and this is a serious thing. This is a lot of fun, too.
Chuck Harris, Chapter 58, Eclampus Vitus. We'd like to present you with this honorable certificate.
What does this do?
It makes you become a clamper.
Uh-oh, I'm in trouble now.
That's right, you're buying.
And I'm buying. Sarsaparillas for everybody inside. Wow, this is, because there are clampers all over California.
Yes, there are.
A lot of them in this part of California.
Yes, we're the biggest chapter in clamper history.
All right, now this is, what chapter is this?
Chapter 58.
So is that in this area?
East Stanislaus.
Wow, and now do I take this with me, and this allows me entrance to
Yes.
all clamper facilities, halls, events?
Exactly. It's wonderful. You'll enjoy it.
Can I use this for a discount inside at the bar?
They generally add 25% carry-in charge when they carry us out, you know.
All right, I'm keeping this. Boy, this is exciting. Look at this. I'm an honorary member of Eclampus Vitus, and this is definitely part of California's gold.
What say the brethren?
Satisfactory.
You have a lot of boaters here, Marcia. There's a big old
yes.
boat hanging out
Yes,
down
we
here.
have a lot of boating. There's 3 big lakes right close by, within 10 or 12
This
miles.
is kind of a recreational area.
Yes, it
here.
is. With Lake Don Pedro and several big lakes, Lake Muscatine,
I'm
McClure.
pointing at this because
Oh.
this is a bit of history too.
Yes, it is. This has been here since before the 1900s. It was called the Bates General Store.
We found some locals.
Yes.
You all live here.
Yes.
What's it like to live in this little
it's
town?
so peaceful and calm. We moved up here about 6 years ago from the valley, and we teach down there, so we live in the valley but commute. So
Come
it's
up
nice.
here.
Oh yeah.
Kind of quiet.
Very quiet, very nice.
Well, that's probably what you like about it, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Wow, and a great place to
Oh
raise your
yes.
family.
Oh yes.
She loves it up here.
And you're surrounded by history everywhere you go.
He's a history teacher, so yeah.
Oh,
you can
you must
appreciate
be
it.
in heaven around
Oh,
here.
yeah, this is great.
There's nothing here that's not
Hard
historic.
to find historical stuff in California, but there's a lot of it here.
Okay, the tour continues, and now we've come uptown LaGrange to the old LaGrange Cemetery, and when I say we've come uptown, look at this. Boy, we're on top of a hill right here, looking out over the, oh boy, that's a beautiful sight, but we're not here to look at scenery. Ladies, we're here to look at this old church. Where are we right now?
We're here at St. Louis Mission Catholic Church. We've been here since 1854.
Yeah, 1854.
1854.
This is gold rush history here.
Yes, it is. And this church was dedicated in 1854, St. Louis Mission, after King Louis IX.
From Spain.
From France.
Oh, from France. Oh, I'm sorry. This is a French community, isn't it?
This
Oh,
was from
gosh.
the French, the
I
French
made a horrible
inhabitants.
mistake. Now, how are you both parishioners here?
Yes, sir, we are.
For how many years?
Well, we've been here for 26 years.
Wow. You've been a member of this place
yes,
for 26
yes.
years. I love the old cemetery.
It is beautiful. We have had people buried here from the 1850s till present.
Wow. Now, listen. Can we go inside?
Sure.
Let's go. Howdy, gentlemen. They're guarding the front entrance right here. Let's go inside. Oh, look. As soon as you walk in the door, you're hit with this. Now, I know this is old.
Yes, it's from the 1860s. It's a Mason and Hamel organ.
Does it work?
It works. We're kind of having it restored because the music is not as good as it once was.
Well, it's old. It's 150 years old. Now, what about the rest of the church? Is this pretty much the way it looked?
It is very much so. The
So
way
you
it was,
work hard to keep it
to keep it up a little.
the old way.
The old way, yeah.
What's it like coming in here to
Oh.
church?
You feel like you're seeing the olden people sitting here in these
Well, they
benches
were
here.
sitting here.
That's how you feel.
Now, are these look like modern benches.
Yes, these were donated to us. We have the original ones stored in the schoolhouse. They were very narrow.
Not big enough for today's seats.
Exactly. Exactly.
So that's something that's changed over the years. We've gotten a little broader.
Right.
But other than that, you are sitting in the sanctuary that the original French settlers would have been in the early 1850s.
Yes.
Do you know how special this is?
Very, very special. And we hear that from Parisian people that come in for their first time. They say, wow, look at this. Look at this old mission.
Boy, this has been beautiful. Thank you all so much for sharing your lovely historic church with us.
Thank you.
Now we're getting this beautiful scenic view looking out from uptown LaGrange. This is uptown, right?
This is
the way they used to come up in 1850s.
To uptown.
They used to come up to church from down.
All right, now we've been uptown. We're getting ready to go back downtown. We got our two fellas over here ready to set the stage as we're looking out from uptown by ringing the bell. Ring the bell, fellas. We're heading downtown LaGrange. Look at this out here. It's absolutely beautiful. Next stop on our town tour, it used to be the LaGrange Trading Post. These days, it's the LaGrange Museum. Let's go inside. We're inside the museum. It doesn't get any more historic than this. I'm standing with
Billy Zanker.
You're with the museum?
Yes.
You're the head of the museum?
Yes, at the moment.
And look at this. This is a present-day graffiti. This is graffiti from?
1889. A comedy troupe came in here.
And just wrote that on the wall?
Yes. And I love the scroll.
Wow, that is, see, you don't even erase your graffiti here.
No.
All right, now there's a lot to see in the museum. This is just part of the museum, but you brought us here because we've already kind of toured downtown. Now, the downtown we saw didn't look quite as big as this one.
No, this was in before 1900, 1897.
Did a lot of the buildings burn or
They
fall
burned.
down?
One of them fell down in a flood and mostly burned.
But this is everything. I recognize the old saloon. There's the old Catholic church. Here's the Oddfellows Hall down here. And what's exciting about all of this, because you can come in the museum and see the whole old downtown LaGrange, we happen to have the guy here who built it. Come on out. He's hiding back in the blacksmith shop. Howdy.
Howdy.
Your name is?
Kempton Everest.
Boy, look at what you have done.
Well, it took a little time.
How long did it take you to do this?
Well, I'd say 3 to 4 years to do them. It didn't take that much time. I made each shingle for that.
Now, did you look at old pictures? How did you know how to make them look like this?
Well, the example would be the Hammond and Bates building right there.
Where is that?
I went over, this is Hammond and Bates.
Right here?
Yes, and I went through a picture and I counted every board that was on that building, up and down, and every board is represented on that.
Wow. There is so much history here. You feel it in here. We can't see the whole museum, but you're open on a regular basis?
On Sundays from 11 to 3.
Just on Sundays
Just on
for 4
Sundays.
hours, all volunteer.
All volunteer from this little tiny town.
Beautiful, beautiful museum.
And they really did a good job of getting it ready for you.
Well, thank you very much, and thank you for building this wonderful exhibit here. This is LaGrange as it was, and in many ways as it still is today. We have left the LaGrange Museum, and look over here, right across the street, we got the old fire engine. We got this beautiful old building here with the tin roof. We got a windmill that's not working, but it's making a statement. Billy, what are we looking at right here? This looks like this ought to be part of the museum.
It is part of the museum.
Oh.
This is all on county property. This is the old adobe barn built before the gold rush.
So this was built before anything else in LaGrange?
Yes.
What do you use it for today?
Storage for the museum.
Oh.
And the fire truck.
You got to have storage.
But you have to appreciate the building. The adobe bricks were made here.
Wow.
In LaGrange.
Back before the gold rush.
Before the gold rush.
This is just beautiful, nestled right here in gold country in Stanislaus County.
Right.
Now, as much fun as we have had in downtown and uptown LaGrange, oh, I know where we are. We've got one more stop to make, and it's really the reason we came here in the first place. I'm not going to tell you where we're going to go. Let's walk right over here. Give us a wave. These are LaGrangians who've turned out today. And here's the hint to where we're going next. And there it is right there. There's the hint. It's called a dredge bucket. Can you figure out where we're going next? It's all tied in with that old bucket there. As the adventure continues, we have come out of town about 2 miles. This is Highway J59. We came down this way when we got lost earlier today trying to find LaGrange in the first place. But I'm not lost anymore. We got our townsfolk. Some of them came with us. Give us a wave, townsfolk. And this is the reason we came to LaGrange in the first place. A couple of months ago, one of our viewers sent me an email and said that he was driving down this highway and looked over, and way off in the distance, he saw something that looked very interesting and very historic. Well, it's historic. The clampers put up the plaque, and here's where we're going. Right across this open field, it's off in the distance. It's old, it's rusty. It's sitting there kind of forlorn. We're heading over there right now to check it out. It's definitely, well, it looks like it's definitely a fine example of California's obscure and almost forgotten gold. Well, we have finally reached our destination. Come on, folks, let's walk out in front of it. Boy, it is an imposing structure here, and I know what I'm looking at only because I've done a little bit of research and I read that email and we saw that old dredge bucket at the museum in LaGrange. Billy, what are we looking at right here?
We're looking at the digging end of the Tuolumne Dredge Company dredge.
The old dredge.
Old dredge.
Now, it looks old. When was it dredging?
It was dredging from 1937 to about 48.
Because you see, when people think of gold history, they think back in the 1800s. They were dredging for gold in the 1900s.
Yes, and before that they were dredging on the river. This one was built as a reconstruction project in the 1930s.
Wow. Well, it needs some reconstruction right now. We haven't met you.
I'm Lloyd Plout.
You're a clamper, yes, obviously. Nothing subtle about those red shirts. You're also a member of the LaGrange Museum.
LaGrange Museum.
Tell us what you were telling me a little bit about the different kinds of mining. This is very interesting.
Well, there are 4 aspects of gold mining. There's your panning and sluicing down along the riverbeds with a pan. And then you've got your hard rock mining where they have the tunnels that go into the side of the mountains and things like that. The third one is hydraulic mining, where they take tremendous amounts of water pressure and they wash off the sides of mountains and run it through sluices and collect the gold.
They don't do that anymore.
No,
that's not environmentally correct.
Environmentally, it was shut down by federal order.
Long time ago.
And the last and 4th issue is gold dredgers. And LaGrange is the only place in the 11 western states that has all 4 aspects of those mining taking place within its gold mining district.
Were there a lot of dredges like this around this area?
No, there are only 2.
But most people don't even know this is here, except for that fellow who sent me the email. He just happened to notice it over here.
Unfortunately, that's the truth. And we do like to let everybody in California and the 11 western states know that LaGrange is tremendously historic and we welcome them.
Well, but people can't get on this property, can they?
Yes, they can. They'll open the gates and things to come down, but they do fence this because they don't want people to get hurt.
Is this county property?
Yes, it is. It's county property.
Look at this, and you've got some old pictures and movies to show me?
Yes. Believe it or not, this tipped over in its pond in 1941.
You've got a picture of
and
that?
we've got a picture of them writing it. They spent the summer writing it.
Because you don't really get the idea the way it is now, but what, this used to be way up in the...
This hoist was way up high, and then there was a big, those dredge buckets you saw in LaGrange?
Yeah.
Well, there was 96 of them that were all connected together that came down in a loop and just dug up the ground.
So this was a huge operation.
Huge and very noisy.
Talk about history. Not only is the dredge history, we got history sitting right out here by the dredge and by the man-made lake that was made by all the dredging that went on here. Fellas, there are not many people left who worked on these dredges, and I hear it sounded pretty loud.
Yeah, it did.
What did it sound like?
It's like a squealing noise.
Real loud?
Loud, yeah.
Did you get used to it?
Yeah, well, I was raised alongside of the one on the river over there. It squeals all night long.
So, what do you think coming back and seeing this old dredge?
Oh, no.
Does it bring back a lot of memories?
Oh, yeah. I worked 4 years on the boat, and then I worked 4 years stripping the hills off ahead of it.
Wow. How many people were working on this project at one time?
About 160.
So there were a lot of people out here.
Yeah, because you had 3 shifts, 3 men on the boat, 8 shifts. Then you had a bull gang of about 10 that helped move the dredge ahead and everything and clean up. And the shop was up there across the road, and they employed about 20 men in there.
Wow, I had no idea it was so many people working here. You know this fellow over here?
Yeah, he's my brother-in-law.
He's an old dredge worker too.
Yeah, I worked a short while out here.
Well, what was it like out here? The old thing is kind of sitting there quiet now.
It was miserable on the damn thing. You get out when you can't see the dredge. You don't see the stacker, you don't see the bucket ladder. And you get out the end of that stacker, that was about 120 feet out of the end of on out past the dredge, and you get out in the end of that, it's like sitting on the end of a fishing pole.
So it was tough work.
Yeah, when you were greasing the shivs on the stacker out there, and they had a hydraulic pump with a big nozzle that washed the bank down in front. And when it caved the bank off, you had to lay down and hang on with both feet and both hands. And,
you know, I'm getting the idea. It looks historic, but it was tough work.
Oh, it was hard work too, boy.
Come on, everybody. This has been a journey of discovery. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Al.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Marcia. Thank you, Billy.
Thank you.
Boy, we have had a wonderful time. We came in search of the dredge, but we ended up spending a lot of our time in our discovery city of LaGrange, which is another interesting part of California's history. The town itself, downtown, uptown, the people of LaGrange, and of course the old dredge itself. All of this right here in gold country and very much a part of California's gold. We've had a wonderful day. What a great day we had in Stanislaus County. It's all about California's gold. And if you'd like to go on this adventure again or share it with family or friends, of course it's available on DVD. All you have to do is call 1-800-266-5727, and we'll be glad to send it to you right away.